Good afternoon, everyone, here at Bounce Innovation Hub. And good afternoon to all of you who are joining us via Zoom. This is an exciting day. We are finally emerging up and out of the long winter that we have been in for the past 18 months. And in a few minutes, I will be sharing some housekeeping notes with everyone. We will also have our hostess, Mrs. Rose Sabors, will be sharing with us a little bit about our facility here. And at this time, and I realize and I apologize, that we're a couple minutes late in starting, but we're doing all that we can do to have our meeting run smoothly. But at this time, I'd like to invite Sandy Narragon and to ask her to lead us in our invocation.
Thank you, Steve. I wish I was there with you. My schedule didn't allow it, but this is a prayer about serving others that I found on the internet, written by Jack Watts. I have modified it slightly. A prayer about serving. Father, allow me to serve others with a joyful heart, always giving. Allow me to give of myself, my talents and of my good and of my goods, my time and of my energy, my heart and of my soul. Let me understand the needs of others. You have always been so gracious, always loving, always forgiving, always restoring. Allow me to serve others as you serve with gentleness, compassion, and tenderness. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Sandy. And if you would kindly join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now if you would join me in the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, and you may be seated. At this time, I would like to have our hostess, Rose Sabors, who is heading up all of the event planning. And I want to tell you, Rose has been phenomenal in working with us over the last many months because we did not know exactly when we would be coming back. And she and her partner, Molly, have been nothing but sensational. And she has a few housekeeping items that she wants to share with us.
Yes, well, welcome to Bounce. Thank you for joining us today. We're very happy to have you each week for your meetings. And as Steve said, my name is Rose and I'm the Director of Community and Partnerships here at Bounce. And so that is our goal, to really bring in people and to share our space. And to start that, we just ask that all of you be respectful of the workers that are out in the open space. Water fountains and then also restrooms are out right next to the restrooms beyond the phone booths on the left-hand side, right before the gates to exit. Parking, we have 3-stage parking in the visitor spaces right in front of the building. That is for our handicapped guests or guests that need easy accessibility into the building. We ask that everyone else either park in Canal Place parking, which is directly to the left of our space, or all the way toward the left following the Bounce parking signs. Other than that, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know, and we're very happy to have you here today.
Thank you, Rose. I want to make just a brief announcement. I'm going to raise my voice for the folks who are joining in via Zoom. We're having, with this being our first meeting, we've done some preliminary practices here in the past, but for whatever reason today, we're having a little bit of difficulty through Zoom. So I know I already have a big voice. Please forgive me out there if my voice seems to be a little overwhelming, but on behalf of those who are joining us through Zoom, I'm going to try and make it so that they can hear some of what's happening here. I want to start with a long list of initial thank yous to men and women who have really played a significant role in helping us come back here today. I want to start by first and foremost thanking Dr. Rob, because last Tuesday, he spotted me and I was not able to be here for the meeting due to the fact that my wife and I were celebrating our 37th wedding anniversary. And had it been just that, I would have been here, but we had another milestone in our home that really was a tremendous blessing for the Bowie household. My wife completed her infusions for the battle that she's had with breast cancer over the last year. So it was kind of serendipitous that it all lined up to be our anniversary, coupled with her last infusion. And we took the day, we celebrated. And so thank you, Dr. Rob, for spotting me. And by the way, Bill Manby and his wife, Susanna, they celebrated their 25th on September 14th as well. So congratulations, Bill and Susanna. I also want to mention some folks that played a very key role in helping us scope this place out and vet it to see that it would work for us in moving forward and having a comfortable, safe environment, fantastic technology, adequate parking, and a meal plan that was really quite affordable. And so we had a little committee that had worked on vetting the place. And that I want to say thank you to Tom Knauer, Doug Cole, Brian Casarco, and Cheryl Warren for all of the work and the time they put in making sure that we would be able to conduct our meetings here. And also a special thank you to Bill Manby Jr. He was the guy that said, "Hey, have you any thought to Bounce Innovation Hub?" And we all sat back and said, "No." And so as a result, thank you, Bill. We're here today because of your recommendation. Furthermore, as you know, over these last 18 months, this club has been exceptionally diligent in trying to be very, very wise and careful in how we navigate the terrain with COVID, and most recently with the Delta variant. And so during Dr. Rob's presidency, he had formulated and brought together a risk committee. And I'd like to list those people who have been serving on the risk committee. You have Chaz Billington, John Reyes, Jacinto Nunez, Dr. Rob, Terry Dalton, Sam Lupica, Michael Gladys, and Pat O'Neill. And I just want to say simply thank you to all of them, because they put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we would be safe. Now, I do need to bring a correction. It was drawn to my attention from one of that risk committee that it appeared that there may have been an incorrect communication about our coming back here, as if the entire committee had endorsed it, that we would be back in person today. And so if you read it that way, I want to humbly apologize. I was attempting to thank the risk committee, and not all of them had endorsed coming back. And we're in businesses and serving in our jobs in various companies that we know that today, on September 21st, here in 2021, that our country, our city, and we as individuals are still somewhat divided on what we think about COVID. And I recognize that. I know that you recognize that. And I appreciate the fact that we've been able to come together and provide a hybrid venue that men and women who do not feel safe and comfortable in coming back in person, we want to honor them, that they'd be able to stay in the safety of their home or in their offices and join in on the meetings. And those of us, like the folks who are here today, that feel fine with coming, we want to honor that choice as well. But thank you to the Risk Committee. You've done a fantastic job. And my apologies. There were a couple folks there that thought that I had miscommunicated, and that clearly was not my attempt. Okay. At this time, I would like to invite up, well, actually, no. Connor, are you? Oh, yeah. Connor, I'd like to invite you up. He was our greeter today, and he's got a few announcements to make.
Yes. Mr. President, El Presidente. Welcome all. It's great to be back in person here. I'm just gonna, I was the official greeter, though. I was bouncing around a little bit. So if I missed anyone, please let me know. But we do have some guests with us. So Mr. President Steve has Joshua Lines and Tina Boyce here with us today. So welcome. If you guys want to raise your hands for those of you that would not know Josh or Tina. I know it's our first time back in person, obviously. So, and Joshua is with Rotaract. Tina, do you want to say a few words, or Steve, or do you want to introduce them? Or do you want to wait for them?
Well, I'm going to wait on
Okay.
Tina if we could.
Perfect. No problem. Julie's got a guest with her today. Julie, do you want to introduce your guest? Christine.
Good afternoon. Just want to say hello, maybe standing near that's my good friend from high school. Just completed my first year over there on July 20th. And it's been a good opportunity and a great experience helping those in need in our beloved city of Akron and all of Southern County. So just want to say welcome and thank you.
And then Mella, you've got a couple of guests with you who are very familiar to us, though.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to see everybody. I have two guests here today from the Akron Rotary Club. We're going to stand up and introduce themselves. You met them all in the front table. You're going to have to walk this way. I can't for you, so they should be able to scream too. Or what did I say? Okay. Yeah. Hi, I'm Tina. I've met most of you guys. I've been around for the last 3 years. I'm the program director at Rotary Camp. And I'm actually transitioning out. I'm going back to school for zoology. And Ben is going to learn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Baker. I saw a lot of it last week. I am a returning. I'm an alumni of camp. I was a counselor there for 3 years from 2017 to 2019. And I took a bit of a 2-year hiatus for relations, but I did not want to leave camp. So we're given the opportunity to come back to this position. I took it. I'm very, very excited to get started.
Welcome. Yes, thank you. I know we have a visiting Rotarian with us, but first I want to mention, if it's all right, Steve, if there's anyone here that's a new member, that this is your first live meeting, or if you've not been able to attend a live meeting, is there anyone here that classifies? Yeah, do you want to stand up and just say hello? Or not to put you on the spot, I'm sorry, but I know it's our, I'm trying to put faces to names for the first time without a screen in front of me, so.
Hi, everybody. I'm Olivia. I've been here for like 1 month.
Yes. Great. Olivia, thank you. Yes,
I guess me,
Yeah.
Mario, I joined during COVID, so
yes.
this is
Thank
my
you.
first live meeting.
Yes, well, hey,
All right,
welcome.
Mario.
Yes, thank you, Mario. You visited a few times. It's great to officially have you with us. And then, David, forgive me, I don't even want to attempt the last name because I don't want to butcher it here, so I'll let you introduce yourself.
Our current president has already done enough to alienate the French. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Larimer. I'm the Club and also with the PI. I wanted to welcome you on behalf of SACS. This is our corporate headquarters. It's 19 buildings. House is one of them. Who's one of which that we oversee. Yes, I think you were. Community back to Kyle. It's so good to see you all here. So many of the faces are familiar. Very well. Some of them are just staying. Thanks for
Absolutely. Thank you, David. Anyone I'm missing? I know I'm a little out of form with my greeting, so thanks for picking up the slack, Dave. Anyone else? No? All right, Jeff. Oh, all right. We're starting with the hazing again. For those that didn't catch that, it was Jeff Sitz. He's here in the pledge. That was a little jab from Thane. So, all right. I'm going to segue into the, no, you're going to do Ambassador Jeff. So I'm going to segue into the Rotary History Minute and what's happening around town. And so, all right, we're going back to Rotary year 1997 to 98. And Mark Auburn was the Akron president. So Mark's 75, a little background on him. He was born in Cincinnati, raised in Akron, and lives in Fairlawn with his wife, Sandy. Together, they have two children. David, a playwright. He won the 2001 Tony for Best Play and the 2001 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. Wow, spectacular. His other son, Benjamin, is now deceased. Mark and Sandy have two granddaughters, Rebecca Rose and Nora Pearl. Professionally, Mark's retired from a career in higher education, including University of Akron Dean of the College of Fine and Applied Arts, and earlier he was the UA Provost and Senior Vice President. His career took him to Ohio State University, Arkansas State University, the University of Arkansas System, and Indiana University, Purdue University at Fort Wayne. He's a son of longtime University of Akron President Norman Auburn. Now, his leadership involvement had him serving on the boards of the American Red Cross of Summit and Portage Counties, the Greater Akron Musical Association, parent of the Akron Symphony Orchestra, for those that are looking for that connection, Northeast Educational Television of Ohio, Western Reserve PBS channels 45 and 49 specifically, the Summit Regional Arts and Cultural District, and Weathervane Community Playhouse. He's been a member of the Fairlawn Charter Review Commission as well. So a little bit of background on Mark Auburn, club president from 1997 or through 98, the 97-98 Rotary year. So, and I know we've had the opportunity to hear Mark speak at our club in recent years as well too. Now, the Rotary year 98-99 was the year of Follow Your Rotary Dream. And James L. Lacey was the Rotary International president. There was actually an HBO documentary screening of The Final Inch, which was a progress film for polio eradication. The former president, James Lacey of Rotary International, and executive director of UNICEF, Ann M. Veneman, attended the HBO documentary screening of The Final Inch at the HBO Theater on April 2nd, 2009 in New York City. World events, though, from 1998 to 99. So Secretary of State Madeleine Albright declares we are not going to stand by and watch the Serbian authorities do in Kosovo what they can no longer get away with doing in Bosnia. The U.S. Embassy bombings in Africa will soon be linked to Osama bin Laden. The United States military launches cruise missile attacks against Al-Qaeda and against alleged Al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan and a suspected chemical plant in Sudan in retaliation for the August 7th bombings of American embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. So, more Afghanistan and bin Laden in the news back in 98, 99 as well. Flipping to the next page here, we've got the forced busing of students for the purpose of racial desegregation has been widely opposed across the nation since it began in the 70s and 80s. Today in Seattle, known for its tolerance regarding race, the school board ends race-based busing of students in middle and high schools as of the 99-2000 school year. I cannot believe it's recent. It's history. The school board considers mandatory busing a failure. Little financial update background. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closes above.
Good. No, I was
11,000.
over for some reason.
11,000 for
Wasn't
the first.
INC before over here?
I know I have a high voice sometimes. Wow, that wasn't me. All right. Dow Jones Industrial Average closes above 11,000 for the first time at 11,014. Now today, it's north of 34,000 for those that pay attention. Patience, persistence, discipline. So in Russia, President Yeltsin appoints Vladimir Putin as prime minister. And also in the world that year, according to the United Nations, the world population reached 6 billion, up from 4 billion in 1974 and 3 billion in 1959. For those wondering where it's at today, we're hovering just shy of 8 billion, according to estimates, about 7.9 billion. In the world of sports, we had, for Tribe fans here, I'm sorry to say, but my Bronx Bombers won the World Series both in '98 and in '99. Some of you can remember that far too well. We swept the Padres back in '98 with Scott Brocious, our third baseman, as MVP. We defeated the Tribe in the ALS, of course, in '98. And in '99, we defeated the Red Sox. I'm more excited about that, not the Tribe defeat in the ALCS, and went on to sweep the Braves in the '99 World Series, where the Sandman himself, Mariano Rivera, greatest closer of all time, was the MVP. And in the world of sports again, the NFL, 98, 99, the NFL champion. This is a painful comment for Browns fans here, and it's for you, Mr. Bowie, as well, with the Packers defeat in the '98 Super Bowl. But John Elway and his Broncos went on to defeat Green Bay in '98 in the Super Bowl. Terrell Davis is the MVP. In '99, they defeated the Falcons with John Elway himself as the MVP. And of course, the name Elway causes a lot of derision in Browns fans here for the notorious drive a few years prior. So with that, that is our Rotary history minutes for our club and world news in the year 97, 98, 98, 99. To talk about transition here to the what's happening Akron, or I don't think we can say that, what's happening around town. I think we're branding it now. On Saturday, September 25th, from 9 a.m. to noon, we have a Rotary Club service project again. The meeting location is to be announced unless that's known at this point.
952 Kenmore Boulevard.
Okay, 952 Kenmore Boulevard. Do you want to come up to speak, Tina? Why don't you speak to this? You'd be more appropriate for that part.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me today as your guest. I'm Tina Boyes. I'm the Executive Director of the Kenmore Neighborhood Alliance. We're the folks that are rallying people in Kenmore and in our community to clean up the boulevard, celebrate the boulevard, bring new businesses to the boulevard. And we're excited to have you on Saturday at 952 Kenmore Boulevard is the address. You'll see a sign outside that says live music now in a cool little courtyard. We're going to clean up. We're going to pick up the trash. We're going to pull some weeds. And I think Steve's got some surprises for those of you who like to paint, pleasant surprises for those of you who like to paint. We're going to tackle a few of the buildings in our neighborhood, paint them some good colors, kind of get certain blocks at a time sparkled up and shiny again for visitors and business owners in the neighborhood. So if you have that passion for painting, cleaning, or just service in general, we would love to have you. We had a great turnout last time. Olivia was there. I think there are a few other people in the room that were there as well. So thanks again for adopting us for your next project.
Right, so always better to get my voice off the mic and have the actual coordinator of the event here to announce it. So, by the way, I hope folks on Zoom, you can't see up my nose too much. I try to, keep it clean, but apologies there. September 30th, 21, the year we are in at 6 p.m. Akron Rotary After Hours is back. This is something that is open to all club members. Hopefully, we can have a great combination. Just, our male members, our female members coming together at the one and only Cigar Lodge. So please mark your calendars for a much needed night out of fellowship. There will be alcoholic beverages available for purchase there. They have a spectacular bourbon selection, just whiskey collection as well too. Great cigar humidor there. And even if you don't want to drink or partake in the cigar festivities, all are welcome to attend. And hopefully it's just a great night of fellowship. So we're going to be meeting there at 6 p.m. There's plenty of room on their outdoor patio. If you don't feel comfortable being indoors, I know most that are here, that might not be a concern, but for those that may not be here because they're not yet comfortable, there will be outdoor seating or indoors, of course, if the weather were to take a turn. And again, the night's going to be about fellowship. There's no cost to attend other than the cigars and the libations, which you may choose to purchase, and guests are welcome. So if you have someone else that would enjoy just participating, interest in Rotary, gotcha. So, okay, Cigar Lodge, by the way, 2989 South Main Street in Akron. A couple of quick announcements because we are on a schedule here. October 9th, Messiah Lutheran Church, the annual spaghetti dinner in memory of Dick Farkas, benefiting the Akron Rotary Camp. That's at 4700 South Main Street in Akron. Linda, do you want to say anything about that real quick, or just read off?
I'm sorry.
I can just say.
I'm just going to say, Bella, feel me out on this. Everybody's invited. It's been a tradition at the church a few years ago. And then my husband, he was asked to the governor, something like that, and the president of our club. He loved the camp, as we all do. And I'm just thankful that my church was picked up the service. And everybody's invited. Yeah, it's wonderful. Everything's homemade. We have a wonderful chef and a member, and he makes yummy meatballs and delicious spaghetti sauce. We have a good one.
Yeah,
I do.
All right,
So
awesome.
if you're interested, dinner tickets are
Oh,
$10.
$10 for those online that can't hear. Go ahead. Yep, $10 for tickets. Wonderful spaghetti.
You can call and make your arrangements with Messiah Lutheran, or just reach out to me.
Okay, reach out to Mela, call and make your arrangements with Messiah Lutheran, and thank you, Linda, for sharing that. I know we're on a time crunch here too, but for those that couldn't hear, sorry without the mic. But again, reach out to Mela for additional details if necessary. And then August 28th through October 29th, this is an ongoing event at the Akron Women's City Club, which is 732 West Exchange Street, presented by fellow Rotarian Jerry Wino Kiefer. Residencies, Reflections, Rememberings, a retrospective exhibition of landscapes and maps dedicated to Bruce W. Kiefer. So the gallery hours, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And then on October 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. If you happen to go during that range, there's going to be a reception given by Ginny Wino, our another member of our club as well, too, beloved member. So there's more detail. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip the description there, but it's going to be a wonderful event. And I'm sure we'll keep announcing that and up. So thank you. With that, back to you, Steve.
Thank you, Connor. Listening to Connor talk about the Yankees and talk about the Broncos, I thought maybe you were working for ESPN or something. A couple of final comments, then we're gonna forego happy dollars today, just because we don't have a tremendous amount of time. We want to give Mr. Kutuchief his just due and allowing him to come and share with us. But real briefly, that little spaghetti dinner is phenomenal out there in Portage Lakes. Everything is homemade when it comes to meatballs and sauce, and $10 is a bargain. I'm telling you. So, and they do a great job in honoring Dick. Welcome to Tina, and Tina has been doing a phenomenal job for a number of years in Kenmore. And I'll simply tell you, like Zach Cole and what's going on in Middlebury and with these community development corporations, the water level of healing and life in the city is beginning to rise. And so please, if you can make it, come out this Saturday, which is the 25th, 9 to 12. We've got a lot planned, but the painting that she's referring to is really going to help step up the boulevard. And there's a lot of life that's happening. So keep that in mind. Great to see Christine Curry. What a tremendous asset she is, and her leadership at Open M. And they had their gala a week ago Friday. Amazing, very well attended, and there's a lot of good things. And Akron is exceptionally fortunate to have a program like Open M that is so holistic. And so welcome. And Christine is actually going to be joining the club as well. So we are excited to have her. Okay, lastly, before we go, any Rotary ambassadors over the last week? Julie, have you been anywhere, everywhere?
Actually, I was supposed to get a conference in Chattanooga this month, but so I will be able to come report.
All right, wow.
Otherwise, we'll be getting ready to plan the Easter conference. That is tentatively still in person for April 22nd, 23rd at the Sheraton Suites again. So we can gather there for our meeting that week.
Fantastic.
Talk about that offline, and I think that's all for today.
All right, well, thank you so much. Anybody else, any other Rotary ambassadors? Any other crucial announcements that would need to be made today? If so, just raise your hand. Okay. Mela.
Oh, I just wanted to remind everybody, badges, youth, just returning to the case on the way up. Just a reminder.
Thank you, thank you. And I did neglect in thanking people to thank Mela, Tina, and Ben, and our own David Hall for all of the incredible amount of work he does in bringing the banners and such. And Cheryl Warren has worked like a maniac along with Brian Casarco to make sure that we could actually pull this thing off. So thank you to all of you. So Kyle, we're going to get to you here right now, and it's my privilege to introduce today's speaker. And for many of you, he is no surprise because you've known him and he's been serving in Akron for a while. Kyle Kutuchief was named the program director in Akron for the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation in May of 2015. The foundation invests in journalism, the arts, and the success of cities where its founders once published newspapers. Akron is the birthplace of Knight newspapers and the foundation, and Knight focuses on downtown and inner ring neighborhoods through investments in public space and public life to increase population and advance equity. Kyle has worked in higher education, part of initiatives to strengthen regional collaboration. He served on a number of boards so that I could share some more about him, but I don't want to take any more time for him. And so please join me in welcoming Kyle Kutuchief as our speaker today.
Well, thank you so much for that generous introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there in person. Just a quick mic check before I start plowing through the deck. Can everybody hear me okay? I can see the gallery as well. So if things break up or I get off, one of my fellow Zoom tiles, please flag me or wave to me and I'll pause. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with all of you. And my goal today is to share a high-level overview of what Knight's been working on in Akron and to really focus in on our investments in downtown and in some public spaces, and hope that you might leave this presentation as excited as I am about the future of the city and especially downtown Akron. So let me get over here. So before I get into a bunch of strategy and pictures of our community, I'm fortunate to be a dad of two sons, Alec and Miles, and my wife, Jetta. Most important role is I think I will keep plowing, but so I'm fortunate to be a dad. I was born and raised in Greater Akron, went to Revere, Ohio State for undergrad, University of Akron for grad school, and I've been back here in the community by choice ever since, and feel very fortunate to be with the Knight Foundation. I'm now in my 7th year as the local program director. I help to manage our grant making in community and play a supporting role on journalism and the arts. And as was stated so eloquently in the introduction, we're really focused on the power of public spaces and public life. And we refer to public life as your time outside your house, your car, your office or cubicle. It's our time when we're together, the time when we're at meetings like this one today, where we seek community. And we think that is key to our city retaining the residents we currently have and making the case to other folks to potentially move here. And so we're focusing on the quality of life in Akron and Greater Akron. And these are the only 2 slides with words and the rest are pictures. So I want to focus on an initiative called Reimagining the Civic Commons. Akron was fortunate to be selected in 2017, along with Chicago, Detroit, Memphis, and Philadelphia, to learn together and invest together in the public spaces in our cities. And so the fundamental principle of it is, rather than looking at just Lock 3 or just Summit Lake or just the Towpath Trail or the downtown library or whatever, how do we think of those as a network of places? How do they interact with each other? And what might happen if we looked at an area of the city, brought the organization, the leaders of the organizations and residents of the neighborhoods together and thought about reinvesting in those places? What might they do together that they couldn't do on their own to better Akron's future? And so in addition to getting to learn with these other cities, Akron's received $6.5 million of support through Reimagining the Civic Commons. And through my presentation today, I'm going to talk about some of the other capital investments that are coming that are all a part of this strategy. The photo here was, we were in Memphis and got to hear E.J. Dionne, the columnist for the Washington Post, talking about division in America. This was in 2017, I think, and that topic has not gone away. So a couple more images from, our learning network, going to cities like Toronto and understanding how one of the most diverse cities in the world programs its public spaces so that everyone, not just public, that it's open to everybody, but that everybody feels invited. How do you diversify the kind of music, the kind of food festivals that, who's dancing? What are the elements of that park or public space that make everybody feel welcome? We don't always go far, going to cities like Pittsburgh. We can learn a lot from Toledo, Cleveland, Youngstown, Canton, Columbus, Cincinnati. There's a lot of innovation happening in the Midwest. And I feel fortunate to get to take teams of people from Akron to go see some of the best and brightest in our country, get inspiration and come back and figure out how we tackle those problems in Akron. How is Philadelphia programming the waterfront along the Delaware River so they don't just give up on winter, but have, Winterfest and have activity all year long. It's also, we're fortunate to spend a lot of time with practitioners, and we also get to meet with senior level leaders. This was a meeting, Mayor Horgan's on the right, and you have Mayor Kenny from Philadelphia in the middle, and Mayor Duggan from Detroit. How are our most senior leaders in community thinking about the future of the city, thinking about growth and vibrancy. So it's been fortunate that we've been a part of it. We also host people in our community too. This was 200 Plates, an event that was down at Summit Lake, which feels like forever ago. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, down on the shores of Summit Lake. And then having forums at the Akron Civic Theater. Some of you may have been attended. We hope to get back to those hopefully next year. But this was Mitchell Silver, the Parks Commissioner from New York, sharing his thoughts on how the city of New York develops its parks and so on. So at a high level, we're focused on civic engagement, economic integration, which means someone who's making $1 million and someone who's making minimum wage can still access the place together. And there's value in people using a shared space, environmental sustainability, and value creation. And let me share some local examples. So this is the footprint that we've been focused on here in Akron. To the north, where we refer to as the Civic Gateway, is really downtown. You have the Park East neighborhood in the middle, and then Summit Lake to the south. The red line going up and down the slide is the mighty towpath trail running from Cleveland to Zoar. And we are so fortunate to have this asset cutting right through the core of the city. And it's really the spine upon which we've been focusing a lot of our work. And I'm going to share with you some a couple things we're really proud of happening in downtown and then here at Summit Lake. So downtown Akron, if you haven't been, I always like to share this slide because people go, how is that downtown Akron? Down by Arche and the Canal Place development, Stay and Play Rec is doing volleyball leagues that are selling out every time they post them. They get about 450 people participating. Next time you're at Arche, go towards the towpath trail and you'll see the volleyball courts. But we're really thinking about how are we activating our public space? How are we inviting people out of the office towers and into Cascade Plaza? Yes, we have a lot of concrete in our downtown, but that doesn't mean we can't provide a roller skate rental like Downtown Akron Partnership's been doing at Cascade, and some music and some food, and get people out to use the space. You may have seen, hoping this video will go, the new murals that are in downtown. This is the north side of the Akron Civic Theater, a mural that was recently installed. Lock 4, if you haven't been down into it, is really a spectacular spot. We're seeing a lot more utilization of that space. And let me get to the next video. And on the south side of the building of the Civic, this is an artist called Uzi. She came and did the large flowers that are along the Civic. But like the building itself is iconic and beautiful, but there hasn't been that sweetness, that invitation to come use the space and be invited. So we're really thinking about kind of how we work with what we've got and make it that much better. Okay, So one of our night signature investments that's opened recently that's a good example is the Night Stage. You may have followed the success of the Bowery redevelopment, which led by Welty, this blighted block that used to be in the core of our city is now developed. I know the retail is struggling, and that's another hour. We need, that requires its own 45-minute presentation, but the residential has been doing very well. And downtown Akron, the Bowery was sort of that canary in the coal mine, the first mover. Is there pent-up demand for downtown residential? All the early signs are saying yes. And as I'm talking to you today, let me take a step back. In 2019, there were about 450 market rate apartments in downtown Akron, in the center of the city, in the special improvement district that Downtown Akron Partnership maintains. Today, there's over 600 in the pipeline across 7 different deals. And if you keep an eye on Crane's Cleveland or some of the other publications, you can see other developers are wanting to get in the mix too, applying for historic tax credits. I know the Beacon Journal building, some more properties down at Canal Place. There are indications that there is that the private sector is starting to invest in downtown Akron. And though the future of retail, the future retail and office is, we're all trying to figure that out. Residential seemed like it's going to be strong. And so that is one thing that has us excited about downtown. The Civic converted, I should have mentioned, this building here, the White Law building, is now the Night Stage. It is a about a 220 seat theater that complements the 2,700 seat big stage at the Civic, and they're able to do smaller, more intimate events here, and they've been doing them this past spring and summer. So the Night Stage is an exciting addition. But I want to focus on Lock 3, Akron Central Park, a place where I know we've all been for dozens and dozens of events. However, if you look at the aerial view, it is sort of a utilitarian design. There's not much shade. There's not really places to sit. You know, a couple of us, there wouldn't be a place to kind of grab a beer and hang out. When you're in the space, when there's not an event going, you sort of feel like you're trespassing. And as downtown starts to become a neighborhood again, and we have, as office workers start to return to office, we need a space that can be both the special event space that has thousands of people on a Friday or Saturday night, and then a space that can be a successful everyday park where people want to live. And some of you may have seen a couple of these renderings that have been made public in the Beacon and the Devil Strip. But I just want to highlight how these are concepts, by the way. These are not exactly how it's going to look, but they give you a flavor for trees, walking paths. The stage is also a placeholder that's being designed. How does this space succeed both during the day and then at night? And do we give up on winter, or do we invite people downtown all year round? Our hope is for all year round. The ice skating and the ice bumper cars and different things that Lock 3 does have been really successful, but how do we design the space to be great all year round? So that was just a flavor of what's happening at Lock 3. And I want to move down to Summit Lake and share a bit more of what's happening at Summit Lake. So you may know the rich history of Summit Lake. It has been a recreational destination in Akron for a very long time, was particularly popular in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. But this thing came along, Interstate 77, and Summit Lake is a case study in redlining. The highway amputated the neighborhood from downtown, and you had Interstate 77 coming in the 60s, and then the second blow of, I can't remember what the name of the Martin Luther King is, it's 59. 59 kind of being that second point of decimation. But here are the aerial maps just to show you. In 1959, you can see this contiguous neighborhood in every direction, especially to the north of the lake. And then by 1969, Interstate 77 has come in, and that began decades of disinvestment in the neighborhood. One key piece of reimagining the civic commons is that this is not some foundation guy or city leaders or the powers that be coming in and telling people what they need. A key component of this is inviting the residents who live in the neighborhood into the process, not in a performative way, but in a meaningful way, so that we are all sitting at a table and that we're making decisions together about the future of the neighborhood. And it started in 2017 with simple things. And it's worth noting, when a place has been disinvested in for a long time, the only things you see in the public are what you can't do. No skateboarding, no sitting, no loitering, no swimming, all these different things. Like, how do we start in a basic way just to tell people, like, you're welcome here. There's a beautiful sunset here. You can sit and relax here. And so a lot of the stuff in the first couple years was very low cost and just kind of asking the residents what kind of things do they want to see in their neighborhood. Well, it turns out that many of the residents at Summit Lake want to see the same amenities that we all see at our favorite park in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park or at Summit Metro Parks. We want a comfortable place to sit, make some dinner, or have a hot dog and hamburgers with our family and relax. We want to be able to see the edge of the water. This was a very low cost, mow the grass, rope line, fishing poles, and an invitation to the kids who live in the neighborhood to, hey, let's go fish in this body of water that has been up the street from you for most of your life and you've never been invited to see it. The edge of the lake was unmaintained for a very long time. When we talked to many of the residents, they were afraid of the water. Their fear was their children or pets would wander into the lake and they wouldn't be able to save them because it's unmaintained. So this was one of our first prototypes that we did too. And when I say prototype, one of our secrets has been in getting to yes with city leaders initially was we would always say, if it doesn't work, we'll take it out. It's not permanent. If the some shade and some swings and a couple grills doesn't work, we'll pull them and we'll restart. But of course, our intent was not to pull them. Our intent was to show, hey, these things are going to be successful. How might we do more? And it turns out the biggest problem we've had here at the beach at Summit Lake, I think it's been there 3 years. And the initial investment was $40,000, which is not an insignificant sum, but is a modest amount when it comes to doing public space work. The biggest problem we've had 4 years running now is that the trash cans get too full on a busy day. And that's the kind of problem we can solve for. We can figure out how to empty the trash. Metro Parks has since built a pavilion here, and there's more to come. But this was kind of the beginning. Summit Lake is 2.5 miles around the border. And so we did about 200 to 300 feet as a test. Let's start there and see what we can learn. So as I mentioned, the prototype's been successful. The residents are coming down. Towpath Trail users are coming down. If you haven't been, I would suggest you go visit. It's a contemplative place for people to just go recharge. Been a rough day. I had a rough day at work. I had whatever. I'm going to go sit on a swing and enjoy this beautiful lake. The other thing is the kayaking and canoeing. We've had during the farmers markets on Tuesdays, a free kayak and canoe share. Many of the residents that have lived by this body of water for decades have never been invited to come out on it. And I can tell you, once you've been out on Summit Lake, like any lake that we've all been to, you fall in love with it. It's a different perspective. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of the city of Akron and this is beautiful. And it's also that for the folks who live in the place to come down and have some joy, have some fun, have a good time. And if you're not into the kayaking and canoeing, it's fun to watch. You can sit on the shore and relax. So want to talk about in addition to Lock 3, we've been thinking a lot with city leaders and neighborhood residents about the future of the North Shore. The city of Akron owns about a 35-acre site that goes from this side over to the Kenmore side of the lake. And we've been working on a vision plan about connecting the towpath trail to the other side of the canal. And this is just a concept placeholder. This is not the details, but we're working on the details as to where's the pavilion going to go, what kind of seating, using a boardwalk. Of course, Summit Lake needs a boardwalk. Where will that go? Those kind of things. We're hoping that the trail around the lake, a permanent trail, will break ground next spring and that there'll be more to come on the construction. But as I mentioned, engaging with residents is key. Here you have Demetrius Falconer, who is the VP of programming at Summit Metro Parks, Michelle DeFiore, who's in the engineer's office, and a resident who lives in the neighborhood, came to one of our resident engagement events, but talking about the future of the place. What do people that live there today want to see? This is the groundbreaking of the loop trail, super low cost, mowing the grass and very cheap signs was the first version. proved successful. People responded very positively, both on the Summit Lake side and the Kenmore Boulevard, the Kenmore side of the lake. And so now that test is the funding's being secured to make it permanent. I want to touch on two other things. I'm at 19 and a half minutes and they told me 20. So I'm going to go about 30 seconds over. I want to share two things for all of you in the room. Put this on your family's bucket list for the next month. Everyone's trying to get out of the house and do something fun for the fall. Here's two places for you to visit. The first one is the former pump house at Summit Lake. This building used to pump water from Summit Lake to the rubber factories and bad stuff from the rubber factories back to the lake. By the way, we did an environmental assessment at Summit Lake about 3 years ago. The water in Summit Lake is as clean as any body of water in Northeast Ohio. You're not going to drink it, but it is as safe for recreation. So Summit Metro Parks has acquired this building from the city of Akron, completely renovated it, and it is now the Summit Lake Nature Center. And so there's the entrance is right here on the side of the building. Here's an aerial view. The towpath trail goes right in front of it. The first floor is a classroom and programming space. Nobody does, first of all, the construction and transformation of spaces better than Metro Parks. And second, their programming, to have fishing class, nature class, astronomy, whatever the kids are into. And you have the Summit Lake Nature Center adjacent to Akron Metropolitan housing right in the neighborhood. Why shouldn't all Akronites, all residents of Summit County have access to amazing public facilities? And as we think about, Summit Lake is, the water runs north and down to Cleveland. And so I think about how many generations of families are going to begin their relationships with parks here at the facility in their neighborhood, and then get curious like we all have about, well, where's Blue Hen Falls? Where's Indigo Lake? I want to go to Peninsula. Where it begins that relationship because you have something amazing right in your own neighborhood. Last thing I want to direct you. So Summit Lake is down here to the south. I'm going to end it kind of in a logical place, but the former Valley View Golf Course, which is about 6.5 miles north of Summit Lake, this is the keystone piece of land where to the north is Cleveland, and to the east is Cuyahoga Falls, and to the south is Akron. The former golf course has been acquired by Metro Parks. This is what the clubhouse looked like. It is now the Himmel Lodge. This park is open. I was there with family on Sunday. It is, first of all, the parents tip. There is a restroom right here, should you need it. But the property is spectacular. Imagine this used to look like a very averagely maintained golf course. And you have the Cuyahoga River kind of sneaking right through the middle of the property, and the colors are spectacular. And it's, if you guys are at Bounce now, it's less than a 15-minute drive. So I want to close by saying I have rapidly gone through a number of park and public space projects that are happening right in the city of Akron. But we think that a number of these small to mid-sized wins are going to add up to big change and help continue to improve the quality of life for all of us that are here, and make a compelling case for companies and individuals and families to move here. So with that, I will take a sip of water and would welcome any questions if that's possible in this virtual setting. Thank you very much.
Let me stick with 15.
If it's okay with you, we hopefully have maybe 10, 15 minutes to stay on afterwards, and there may be a few more questions. Are there any questions right now for Kyle? Take one or two.
Kyle, we do have a few comments in the chat box. I'll just read them. If I don't close out my chat box.
I can see them now. Yep.
Okay.
I see a lot of people saying nice things, which is appreciated. By the way, if I bumped out happy dollars, I worry about the impact on my karma that may have. So if I need to yield time so that can come back, please do it. I was very concerned when I heard that.
G&K, did you have a question?
Yes.
Is there a place for our club to lean in on to work? Is there a place for our club to lean in on the work you're doing?
Yeah, for time constraints, I did not have a chance to get into some of the inner ring neighborhood work, and just wanted to thank you guys for what you've been doing for what you're going to do for Kenmore Neighborhood Alliance. We're proud supporters of their work. Tina Boyce is one of the best we've got in the city, and that's an excellent place to be. I know along the towpath trail, the Ohio Area Canalway Coalition does a number of cleanups and have various companies and organizations adopting sections of the trail. There's an endless amount of work. I think Dan Rice and the Ohio Area Canalway Coalition would be a great connection. And I know Tina has been working, thinking about the connection from the towpath to Kenmore Boulevard. We funded a couple things with them, but Tina, I feel like I should yield the mic to you, or you can share with them Saturday, the various projects you've got. So.
Thank you, Kyle. Real quick, we're gonna do a drawing here. Steve's got a couple comments. So Steve, would you draw a winner for us here? Raffle. Get your raffle tickets out. Our winner is 549-3826. 3826. Christine, come on up. We're working.
Kyle, we do have another question here. Curious to know, with respect to the social determinants of health, what the impact could mean for areas such as Summit Lake. What the Knight Foundation is doing is life-changing, just a different perspective.
Yeah, no, Chris, I wish we were hanging out to ask that question in person. It's good to see you virtually, my friend. There's a lot of needs. Look, neighborhoods like Summit Lake have a lot of needs that were not addressed in my presentation. Our focus on public space is a narrow portion of what a neighborhood like Summit Lake needs. Chris happens to be an expert in the public health side, so I'd be curious to hear his take. But the social service and K-12 space hasn't been as high an area of focus for us, but we're fortunate that we're not the only foundation in Akron, and have a number of our partner funders that are very active in those spaces and are thinking about public health, access to jobs, access to transportation, the range of other areas that a neighborhood like Summit Lake needs.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Do you have the ability, I know that David asked you, but do you have the ability to stay on for an extra 10 minutes?
Yeah, happy to, yeah.
Okay, I just have a couple final comments I'd like to make. Special hello to John Daly today, who is on Zoom, and Jack Herrick is making all of that happen. And for many of you, you may not know, but John had a fall a little over a week ago, and actually was out of commission, laying on his floor for just about 2 days. And God bless, and I do mean this, God bless Jack Herrick, who has been keeping an eye on him very, very faithfully. And Jack got over there, went to the neighbors, got a key, got inside and found John and got him the necessary help. Reached out to John's son, Mark, who then flew in. And so, what I'm describing here really is the heart of what it means to be a good human being, but also the heart of a Rotarian, and seeking to serve and seeking to help. So John, hello. We love you. We miss you. And Jack, thank you. I mean, you are just, there aren't enough words to adequately describe yourself. Lastly, some of the important stuff. We have some birthdays. Jim Mullen from United Way, it was his birthday yesterday. Jay Rutter on September 25th has a birthday. And Brian Kima coming up on September 27th. But if that's not enough, tomorrow, Andrew Grover and his dear wife, Amanda, will be celebrating 9 years of marriage. And then on the 26th, Katie and Tim Miller will be celebrating 34 years of marriage, but somehow the math doesn't seem to add up. Katie, did you get married when you were like 11?
I was pretty darn young. I was 23 when we got married. We met when I was 21. We were engaged for 9 months, and We dated for 9 months, I got engaged for 9 months, and I got married, and haven't looked back. He's my best friend.
Well, fantastic. And so we just want to say happy anniversary ahead of that date coming on the 26th. Lastly, just a little reminder. And Kyle, your article that was on the screen, you started that article, you said, can you feel it? That's a very well posed question. And I pose it to our club. I pose it in agreement with him regarding the city. Can you feel it? Because there's something special afoot in our city. And we want to seize the day. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity. And Kyle made mention a few times about what's going on in Kenmore. We have that project on Saturday. And by the way, love to have a good turnout if we can get it. And if the weather kicks us out, we will find another day to get over there and do it. I think we could still do some weeding and some trash pickup if we have a little bit of rain, but we clearly won't be able to paint. So let me just ring the bell to let people go. And then Kyle, if you could stay on for any questions, then we'll handle that. So let me ring the bell. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So questions, any other questions from the audience? Gina K, we could not hear you if you'd want to come up. Cheryl, are you seeing any? Okay. Can you turn your mic on and we can turn this off where you can handle the questions? Well, I mean, if you've got them online. Thank you.
Terry, if you'd like to unmute and state the question, and then we can have Kyle answer, please.
Sure. All right. Jack, did you have a question? Maybe Jack had a question.
Kyle, can you see the question in the chat from Chris Richardson? It says, curious to know with respect to the social detriments of health.
Oh, I answered that one already.
The impact could mean for areas such as Summit Lake, and what the Knight Foundation is doing is life-changing.
Yeah, that was the last one I took during the Q&A. I gave an inadequate answer, but I did my best to try to help them. So.
Oh, and I'm sorry if you gave the answer already.
No, don't worry. No problem. It's a lot of moving parts. Great job, by the way. That was very smooth for a first time.
We could hear you great here.
Good.
I'm having a hard time, but that's just because I'm hearing here and on Zoom.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have any other questions here.
Yeah, everybody's got it. They've had enough.
I do. Okay, Josh has a question who's here with me.
Hey. First, I just want to say that was really exciting.
He said it was really exciting.
I can hear him. I can hear you. Right. Go ahead.
My question is, I know a lot of the public spaces are pet friendly, but have you ever worked on anything pet focused, or is that something you guys get involved with public spaces?
Yeah, great question. The dog park. Oh yeah.
Why we stopped hearing him.
Yeah, hey. I think it may just be coming through your.
Sorry. It's okay. Here, put my headsets on. You have to hold tight. Then you can hear him.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello? Good?
One more time.
Hello. Kyle?
Hey, how's it? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear Kyle.
All right,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Hey, are you able to hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, so pets are sort of a part of the public realm, like a parts and stuff, but they're not necessarily an explicit focus. So I know like the city of Akron's dog parks are well used and we need more of them, but that is not necessarily something we're focused on per se. So, but if that's an area that you're interested in, keep advocating for it, because I know like metro parks in the city and neighborhood groups are trying to figure out how they stay as pet friendly as possible and provide the basic amenities that make it easier for pet owners. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I see a lot of like the the trash bags or the pet friendly stuff. I was just curious if you guys had ever seen success with like a pet focused project or anything like that.
One of the exciting indicators in downtown is more pets, because that's a neighborhood looks like that. People walking their dog, people walking their kids, all hours of the day. And what are the small things we can do to increase safety? More eyes on the street, more eyes in the public space, and it doesn't cost anything. And as people are moving downtown, if people are comfortable walking farther, it's just better. So hopefully we see more pets in the years ahead too.
Fair enough. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, cool. Cheers.